2 years in a row, catastrophic flooding in the valley costing hundreds of thousands of dollars. Can our area handle more historic rainfall?
How much water is too much? Meteorologist Cecilia Gutierrez investigated, and here's what she discovered.
It's dry now, but months ago, FM 506 was inundated by floodwater. Take a quick drive down the road, and the homes look pieced back together. Until you take a deeper look. It happened quickly, but the effects are felt months after.
What happened here is something that I would not like to remember, but I'm going to go ahead and repeat it. It was a nightmare here when it flooded. We were one of the ones that were most affected by it because the water lasted about 23 days before it disappeared completely.
Spared during the first bout of historic flooding in 2018, Mother Nature wasn't so kind this time.
We lost everything, shoes, clothes, everything inside our home. From one day to the next, it was all gone. We lost our car, we lost everything but our faith that we would continue and move forward.
Carmen Ponce says they were told by the county to come back at their own risk.
When the county met with us in Santa Rosa, he said the words, "At your own risk if we return here," because this used to be a lagoon or a lake in the past, around the 1930s, I believe, Lake Cano. So the county said, "I don't know what to tell you, but it's at your own risk." But we wanted the answer to why they let people buy lots here and build homes here if Lake Cano used to be here. They knew this area was a low-lying area and that at any time it could flood.
She says they didn't know they lived in a low-lying area until the county told them after the flooding. Even though they're identified by FEMA as one of the higher risk areas for flooding in the county. We took a look. The elevation in Santa Rosa is only 50 feet above sea level. Some places as low as 26 feet in Cameron County. The highest point in the county, 60 feet.
So we asked the people from the county, if it was a lake, then why did you give us permits to build here and to sell lots here? Why? If you knew that it used to be a lake, then why let people buy and build their homes here? They knew it was a risk, it was dangerous, and that when it rained it could flood because it used to be a lake. Just because once people built here and covered some of the land, but in the back you can see a lake, that lake hasn't been covered up.
They're not the only ones in a low-lying spot in Cameron County. Because the valley is so flat, water will pool in these low-lying areas. Now let's say this plate is the valley. Now put the cloth over it. There's some places that are lower lying than others. Dump the water out, and some of those places where it's lower lying will naturally pool more water than others. So the water doesn't go anywhere. Tilt the plate slightly to one side, and eventually the water runs off, just not very fast. You see, water in the valley runs off from Star to Cameron County and eventually toward the coast. It just doesn't happen very fast because the valley is so flat. Back in July, Cameron County told Channel 5 News the entire county is considered to be a flood zone, and that is explained to people when they get a permit to build. Some residents also have to get a special evaluation and build at a higher elevation, depending on the area they're building in. The county also told us a lot of the homes in the Rio Hondo area aren't built up to these specifications or county codes. County officials told us even the ones that meet county code requirements would still have flooded with last summer's rain. Associate professor and department co-chair for the Civil Engineering Department at UTRGV, Dr. Jensen Ko has been working on modeling inland rainfall and storm surge.
Actually, this one can give critical information for the any kind of civil infrastructure management and first responders management.
Armed with flood maps accompanied with hurricane track data, plus knowing where the existing drainage canals are and where the flood zones are in the model, Dr. Ho showed us just how devastating historic rain can be to different parts of the county that have been spared in the past. This time the model showed us a once-in-100-year flood event.
Water is just going to fill this reservoir first and then will just overflow laterally.
Notice the blue shading running into neighborhoods and down streets in South Brownsville.
Harlingen can be submerged by the flooding event.
Not only in rainfall events, but in a hurricane scenario.
Whenever the storm surge happens, this Laguna body water will go up. And if we have same time rainfall event, this runoff will go to this Rio Colorado.
Meaning the flooding will meet in the middle. That's Cameron and Willacy County. Dr. Ho says whether it's historic rainfall or a hurricane, flooding in the valley is prevalent due to the elevation.
They said that used to be a lake. The flooding is always going to happen.
Ponce says she will continue to rebuild on what the county continues to call her own risk. It will be months until Ponce's home is ready to live in again. She says others in the neighborhood packed up and left. They're not willing to take that risk anymore. In Santa Rosa, Cecilia Gutierrez, Channel 5 News.